Welcome back, everybody. My name is Kim. This is Brian. Today's episode of Clicks and Bricks is brought to you by nlink.com. Report made easy. One place for all your social media profiles. Nice and simple. Sign up for your free account today. If you want to join my text line community, 314-370-2871 is my cell phone number. I'll never try to sell you anything, but I will send you tips and tricks and motivational junk along the way. Some people like the motivational stuff. I do too. I don't always like it. I think sometimes it gets a little too much, but sometimes some things I run across and they really drive it home for me. So I'll share that stuff with you too. Some crypto stuff and other things like that. So
beautiful, beautiful. My name's Brian, back again for another episode. We'll be on 29. Did you say that?
I did not say the episode number.
Episode 29. We're moving along here. My text line is 314-216-2040. The types of things to text me would be questions you have about a topic that we went over, or maybe you have a question that we have not talked about, a topic we haven't talked about, but you just want to know about it. You can text me there, or the topic that you want us to talk about. Text me there too, okay?
Awesome. Well, let's jump right in. What's today's Between the Cubicles, Brian?
Between the Cubicle is the crypto bubble popped. Predictions on what happens next.
There was a crypto bubble. That's horrible.
There are no facts.
There are no facts yet. So, so we had a giant market correction. I'm not a financial advisor in no way, shape, or form. I am. I'm definitely a crypto enthusiast. I dabble a lot. I know more about crypto mining than I know about the revenue, the economic side of it by far, right? So I grew up in data centers. Well, I didn't grow up in data centers, but I've been in data centers since my early 20s, and I'm an old man now, so pretty much grew up
for life, man.
Yeah. So Bitcoin mining, Chia mining, Litecoin mining, all those things are something I'm really familiar with, and I do have. I think it's a small holding. Some people think it's a huge holdings, but it's all relative depending on where you're at in life. So I do have a decent amount of cryptocurrency right now. I don't think the bubble popped, man. I mean, maybe it was a small bubble. We were definitely running way too fast. The gains were coming. It was one hell of a bull market, man.
I mean, in 2 weeks, man, 10 times my money.
Yeah, so anybody that listened to any advice in crypto, if you were in crypto in early May, if you were in crypto this year, you made some money.
Yeah.
Right? There's or if you're like me, you made some crypto. I didn't earn any money because I've not cashed out yet.
I made crypto. I did not make money. I
have value in crypto.
Right.
But it has the US dollar, but I don't. So I think what we're seeing right now is just people moving out of the coins, out of the volatile coins, the large market cap and the small market cap coins, and they're putting them into stable coins. Now that stable coins, when I was really into cryptocurrency in 2015, 16, 17, I got out in 16 actually, or I got mostly out in 16, and which one of the biggest mistakes of my life. But what we didn't have stable coins then, so you had to convert everything to US dollars.
So what's considered a stable coin? Is Bitcoin actually considered a stable coin?
No, Bitcoin is not a stable coin. So stable coins are tied to a specific asset. The one that I'm using right now, and I would recommend to anybody, it works really well, is Coinbase's stable coin, and it's called USD coin. And it's a coin that you can, I think, I've not done a whole lot of research, but my understanding is that the stable coin USDC is a cryptocurrency, or it's a blockchain specifically for Coinbase. So inside of Coinbase, you can transfer assets from one cryptocurrency into USDC without having a tax event. So you can keep it in crypto, because crypto is not really a currency as far as the government sees. It's an asset. So
interesting.
Whenever you go from one coin to another, there's no tax event. You're just bartering. It's like trading a chicken for a goat, right? There's no tax there for it. And so if I go from Bitcoin to stablecoin or vice versa, I don't have to report that to the IRS because everything stayed in crypto. But if I go to US dollars, now I have a tax event.
Yeah.
Right. I have to report that, and it's a giant pain in the ass. And so that allows us to do fast trades, and then whenever the market gets really volatile, like it had been, I can transfer to USDC without taking a tax hit on the money. And then it's sitting there ready to go back into crypto whenever the market starts to turn.
You need it again.
Or right now, I mean, the volatility in the market, it looks really volatile, but it is up and down, right? And it's pretty sideways. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to make a huge amount of money right now.
Yeah.
And with, a lot of people dog on Dogecoin, no pun intended, but they're implementing Rosetta this month supposedly. I've also heard rumors that they're adding smart contract technology into Dogecoin, and Musk, as crazy as that son of a bitch is, I'm not going to bet against him.
He is standing on it.
He is standing on it. He thinks that the irony of the joke coin becoming the real coin is he thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah, he loves it.
I don't disagree with them, and because at the end of the day, United States dollar is as big of a joke as anything. Right? I mean, we're printing it. We're giving literally free money showing up our mailboxes. If the world thinks that this is not going to blow up in our faces.
Dude, my brother's in Vietnam. He's in Vietnam right now, and he's like, "Yeah, I got a stimulus check coming."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Dude, you haven't been in the United States in 3 years."
Yeah.
But he has a stimulus check coming.
Right? And then, like this latest one, I don't even know if it's true or not. That we're supposed to be getting, $250 per kid or something like that.
It's supposed to start next month.
Yeah. So like
Until the end of the year.
Yeah, so like that's an extra, another $5,000 that I'll get before the end of the year for being an American, having children. I guess. I mean, I'm doing the part, right?
I feel like
the society move forward.
I feel like I should be paid for how much of American I am.
Yeah,
that's another topic for another podcast.
It's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up in our faces.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it's gonna happen. I'm not an economist.
There's definitely going to be some kind of blowback from it, just because the way the economics have been in our country for the last year, something's going to happen.
Right. Yes. So, but if the coins that I'm in, I'm definitely in Doge just because why not? I have 8 million Shiba coins because, well, shit, it's a very, very.
You getting the Zenix Pay?
What?
The Zenix Pay thing that Musk was talking about?
No, I haven't. But then the other ones I have Polygon, I love. And I just bought today. I transferred some assets into Luna Coin. I don't know a lot about Luna Coin, but it looks like it could be
the baby Doge.
Well, no, it's got real utility behind it, and its growth patterns are like straight up when it grows, and it like goes straight up and then plateaus, and then straight up and then plateaus. So we'll see what happens with Luna Coin.
That's cool.
Yeah. I need to learn more about it. I kind of jumped in. I didn't put a lot in. I bought like $100 worth of Luna Coin, which I think it got me like 50 coins or something like that. So
okay.
Yeah, it's a
price.
Yeah, it's a low cap, but it's got some technology behind it that
Interesting.
I don't recall right now. But when I was reading, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to have some of that.
Nice.
So yeah, so because it has a burn rate and it's a deteriorating asset. So it seemed pretty cool to me, but I don't think it was a bubble. Well, it might have been a small bubble, but it did drop.
I think it's coming. I agree with your. I think it just corrected itself. I mean, it went on a really, really hard run, really fast.
Yeah, and there's manipulation, and the governments don't want crypto. Right?
Right.
It's bad. Crypto's bad for governments.
Absolutely.
And it's bad for anybody that wants to control other people. So controlling people don't like it. Right? So governments don't like it. So
right.
These are. I mean, there's several crypto wallets that bought like giant numbers, like billions or 100 million or $5 million worth of cryptocurrency.
Yep.
Let it run up and then just sold it all, put
Yep.
it all in the market to tank the market. So, is that government collusion? Is that what is that? A lot of money was taken off the table.
It's really hard to put your finger on it, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to get to the people that saw their money 10 times. They said, "Screw that, I'm out." Good.
Yeah, but it was orchestrated, right? It was all while we were sleeping. We all got to wake up to have our money, right? So, I mean, the serious traders, had their sell orders, and I did have a sell order in for. Actually, I hit those pretty well. I had a sell order in for $1, and I had a buy order in for 22 cents. So I actually 24 or 26 cents. So when it got down there, I actually picked up another chunk of Doge at a really low price, and it's already so hedging that worked out for me pretty well.
I need to get used to doing those buy orders. I don't know why it just makes me a little paranoid to do it. Like, I don't know what it is about it. I don't know why I can't wrap my
You had to take the money. It's like when you write a check, right? You write the check in the mailbox. You're sitting there looking at your bank like, well, I still have that money.
I can do something else.
Right.
Right?
So this is like, it could be days, weeks, months out before you hit that limit order and go. So it's a whole lot of fun. I watch BitBoy Crypto almost every day, and I watch Crypto Banter almost every day. And two great shows. Make sure you tag them on this podcast, Nick.
On YouTube?
They're both on YouTube, and they're wildly informative shows, and I have it on in the background almost all the time. So just absorbing crypto, hopefully maybe get a buy order.
You don't dabble, man. You don't dabble.
No, I lean into
You lean it all hard, man.
Yeah, I don't like doing things a little bit.
Right, you're all another kind of guy.
So,
all right, so let's go ahead and dive into this: working less and making more. This is something I'm really excited about because I can't wait to be like that when I grow up.
I've not figured it out, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure where Nick was going with this topic. I'm a 12 to 13 hour a day guy, right?
Man,
so I definitely don't work less.
And I guess I should probably start including my research time as like working, even though it's not sales, but I'm constantly trying to sharpen my saw. So there's something I don't know that could probably help me. I just don't know what it is. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be constantly learning all the time.
Yes.
So I put quite a few hours in reading all over the place, whether it's business, personal, spiritual, whatever the case may be.
So even like when I'm at home, so Sundays is my day that I sit at home. And I'm at home by myself. Well, not by myself. I got my son Joe, but he doesn't like me too much to be upstairs. We're the only two there, so
he wants his time too.
He wants his time too. So like, go downstairs. I got the upstairs.
I do me.
So like literally, if I'm sitting downstairs playing Fortnite, I've got YouTube on another TV, and so that's what I do on Sunday mornings. For like, the wife leaves at like 10 a.m. Her and my daughter leave at 10 a.m. They go to the boxing training, and they get done at about 3 p.m. They're home, so I've got that amount of time. Even then, I'm playing Fortnite or cleaning the garage or something, and I've got YouTube, some educational YouTube going on the TV or the background or somewhere.
I'm starting to get like that.
Yeah.
Like I'll find it if I can find a cool channel, I'll just rock it out, dude.
Yeah.
Just keep on going. Next thing you know, I'm learning all kinds of stuff I had no idea. Because sometimes it'll get weird, right? And it'll go off.
And I get, I go off on tangents too. Like my lawyer walked in the office the other day, and I got my TV on, I got a video playing on the computer, and I've got my phone, and I'm literally watching all 3 videos at the same time. It's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm consuming this information. I gotta learn.
My AD's on full alert, right?
Yeah.
Full alert.
Come back in 20 minutes when these videos are over.
I'll be smart as hell when you come back.
Because different people have different opinions, and it gives you a different.
You have to challenge it. You have to get the other perspective. And then you got to like research that thing. Like, okay, like where did they come from with that? Like, how did they get to that point to make that conclusion? Right. So
sometimes I just jump into weird shit on one person's idea, and that's generally burns me. Sometimes
you like that stuff though. Yeah, you like that stuff though. All right. So our first question here is by David, and David says, "Growing up, I've always heard the phrase "work smarter, not harder." Do you agree with the saying? What are your philosophies beyond your reasoning?
Oh, so yes, absolutely. Work smarter, not harder is. So we have at Hosterian, we have something called our SMAC, and I think rule number 4 in our SMAC, and SMAC is systematic, methodical, and consistent rule set. We have basically 19 rules that are our SMAC rules, and one of those rules, I think it's rule number 3, is if it can be automated, it will be.
Yeah.
Right? So that's when I say work smarter, not harder, that's what I mean. So automate as many jobs as you possibly can so that your staff doesn't have to do those things.
Yeah.
So you can free them up for more important work or better work. So it's a challenge though, because not every employee
adopts
that. And sometimes, and it happens to me quite frequently, I'll start an automation project, and I used to do this too to my predecessors. Like some of my mentors, like, well, if we automate that, what am I going to do? Right? What is my job going to be then? And it's scary.
Yeah, it
right?
It can be.
But for me, what I had to realize is that the work will never be done.
There's always something.
There's
to do.
always something else to do. And if you channel your inner Marcus Lemonis, that last $2 or that last dollar you spend on a project is the most important dollar. So
Right.
if you can automate a bunch of the junk work away, the not great work, and you free up your staff to have really meaningful conversations, really meaningful work that they're doing. So now you're talking about, we're to the point now where we're diagnosing a single web page for days, right? How many people, how are they moving their mouse on the screen?
Yeah.
How can we make the purchasing environment better? So that work we weren't doing before when we didn't have stuff like buying air conditioner filters automated, right? Well, shit, we know how many air conditioner filters we need every quarter, and
Right.
that was literally, the company was so stupid that every single quarter we would go through and re-inventory all of our air conditioner filters and then place an order, right? And when I finally I got to that process, that part, I'm like, okay, show me how we're doing this, and they showed me. I'm like, well, why are you doing that?
That's a
Every time, like, how often do we change air conditioners? Never, right? Like, literally, we're adding another air conditioner for the first time since 2012, right? We're adding another 80-ton unit. We put in one 80-ton unit in 2012. We're putting another one in now. So, like, this isn't like something we do all the time. So our air conditioners are pretty fixed, and we know this is a consistent thing that happens all the time. So automate the entire process. We have a vendor that has the open API set, Amazon. You can literally automate a process to go to Amazon and make the orders. Shit, Amazon, you can just say, put this on subscription, and it comes whenever you tell it to, right?
That's
so
cool. I've never used that feature.
Yeah, just all those kinds of little bitty things. If you can automate them, they go away. Then your life's easier. You can work on other stuff.
And that's the first thing that comes to your mind when someone says to work harder, not smarter. It's automation. That's like the first.
That's the first thing that pops into my mind. Right? This whole 4-hour work week crap, like, the books and stuff, I think they're all tactics to transfer money. When I say transfer money, I mean transfer money out of my pocket and put it in somebody else's. Right?
I mean,
I'm not cool with that. I've done it enough. I don't need any more 4-hour work week books.
So the only guys that do that are the guys that have already made the money. That's why they don't have to.
Well, no,
I'm good where I'm at, so now I don't want to go play and do other stuff.
Yeah, so I have mentors in my life, right? I have lots of mentors in my life, and I have them in business, I have them in fitness, I have them in boxing, I have them in crypto, right? I have a lot of mentors doing stuff, and I also have a lot of business coaches trying to sell me their services.
Right.
I don't know what a business coach can teach me, and I've hired business coaches. They don't have real world experience, right? I have the Harvard little books of business. I can read those damn things. I don't need somebody to tell me how to, if I spend $1,000 on marketing, right, and that brings me this many clients and do those KPIs and bring them up. I don't need that from those people. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of those books have some good knowledge in them, but I think most of them are bullshit.
I think
And they know how to write a book.
It depends, man. Because I mean, you take a different approach to a lot of things in life anyway. So you have a completely different vantage point than a lot of other people.
I try to always run against the crowd.
Right. So a lot of people, that's super valuable information. They may not get any of that. They're not going to. I didn't see how it works. There's not too many people that have. You started a ton of businesses. You scaled a couple businesses, right? You've been able to do that so many times, and like now it's just like muscle memory.
Yeah, but going back to the books, yes, and I've screwed up a whole lot of them too. But for every guy that sold that book successfully, I think there was 1,000 guys that wrote a book that didn't get sold.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I find those tactics hard to believe.
Yeah, there's a lot of junk in there.
And when I hear the phrase, work less and make more, that's kind of what I feel like this is that topic. But I would rather talk about automation, because automation is a definite way to work less and get more out of it. The other thing that I really lean on hard, and the entire company leans on hard, is monitoring. Right? Like, we lean on monitoring,
Tracking and
really, really hard.
well, I guess
right?
tracking and monitoring are two different things, but
Yeah.
they go together.
They go together, right? So, like, right now in St. Louis, we're in a shitty time, and I'm gonna talk about air conditioners again. 'Cause air conditioners are on my mind today, because we're in a big temperature change, and the pollen's way up. So those are two really bad things for data centers. So I have, we're monitoring the temperature everywhere. The temperature starts to go up, so we start looking and seeing what's going on, and that happened today. So, okay, we have to change the filters in the air conditioners. We have to clean them off again, even though we just cleaned them last week, right? We cleaned them off again, but the monitoring told us we needed to do that, right? We do it systematically on a rotating basis so that we don't have to do unscheduled work. But
that's a plus right there, right? That's working smarter, not
well, we try to do unscheduled. Like, there's two kinds of work in the world:
scheduled and unscheduled.
scheduled and unscheduled. And scheduled work is less expensive than unscheduled work.
Yeah, 'cause you're probably doing it again.
You might be doing rework, but actually, I guess rework is another type of work, which nobody wants to do rework, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
pay attention to your P's and Q's and get your shit right the first time. But scheduling your work, definitely, if this is how long. We have a service called WordPress updates or WordPress management, right? Not WordPress support, but WordPress management. We know that it takes an average of about 15 minutes. If you update all your plugins and WordPress core, if you do that every week, it takes about 15 minutes. If you do it once a month, it takes about 45 minutes, right? So we know that, and we put it into we have a thing called Kanban. If you're not familiar with Kanbans, get used to them. Actually, you've seen them all the time, right? McDonald's uses them for their orders, right?
What it was.
You should realize what it was. So we have the Kanban that says, okay, when a site needs to be updated, it pops up on the Kanban. The guys go through the process. So working smarter is, I know how many websites we have to update this week. I know it takes an average of 7 minutes for the ones that we do every week, and 45 minutes for the ones that we do every month. So I know how many hours of labor I need to assign for that job. Right? And then as they're doing those things, we automate more and more of those pieces. But I'm also a big firm believer that you can't automate people completely away. That you always need to have
the human element is, it also makes a lot of stuff bad because we mess stuff up. Human error destroys shit, dude.
Yes.
But at the same time, you need that the human element for a lot of
validation
things.
more than anything, I think.
Absolutely.
But,
like when I think of work smarter, not harder, the first thing I think about is a mindset. I think of the mindset of how, like, if you assume things, you start closing doors before they even got a chance to open.
yes.
So you could literally be making your job harder because you didn't even entertain the fact that something else even existed and could solve the problem that you thought there's no way in hell it could be automated.
Yes.
Right? And I can't tell you how many times that I've done that. Like, oh man, I didn't know it was an option because I made an assumption that it was not an option.
Right. And that happens all the time. Right.
I still do it. It's a struggle that I have right now. I haven't figured out really how to stop doing it, but besides having the people in my life to say stop making assumptions, and smack me on the head. Okay.
I've seen enough things. I think I've been in IT so long that assumptions are hard to make anymore, right? Because
It keeps changing.
I mean, rebooting your computer works 80% of the time. Well, rebooting your computer 3 times works 97% of the time. Why did it work? Why didn't it work the first time? Shit, I don't know. There's hundreds of thousands of lines of code that come up. There's hundreds of capacitors and channels and all that stuff. Before this podcast today, we couldn't get our cameras working. Sam's like, hey, I think this USB hub's broke. He played with it for 20 minutes. I went and got him another USB hub and got back. I'm like, hey, did that work? He's like, actually, the one that wasn't working just started working. I have no idea why.
That's IT right there.
Right? So,
You never know.
Making assumptions is bad. Sometimes it saves time, right? But in general, I find it a bad practice.
I had to redefine that. It's not making an assumption. It's making an educated guess. What I believe.
Well, and
What I've seen already, what I've experienced, is what I believe.
when I make assumptions in work, I clarify that it's an assumption before I speak it.
That's huge.
Right?
That's huge.
And I don't know what it is about my demeanor in the world, but I found that a lot of my communication hurdles are, a lot of times I'm asking a question and people think I'm making a statement. Sometimes I'm brainstorming and people think that
That's the way.
that I'm giving them direction, and sometimes I'm giving people direction and they think that I was just bullshitting with them. Like, so I've found that whenever you are communicating and you are going to make an assumption about something, you have to say, hey, this is an assumption that I have, and here's my assumption, and here's the reasons why I believe that. may or may not be true, but I found that for me reduces a whole lot of frustration
On both sides.
on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, there's absolutely a need for that context for a conversation. Because a lot of times people think the context is like, you should be assumed. You should know where I'm going with this, but
Right.
it's not, man.
It's not. And so if you're going to work smarter and not harder, clarify when you're making an assumption,
Yes.
and it's not you're telling people that, hey, this is an assumption I have.
Right.
And this is what I'm going to do based on that assumption. And you might save yourself hours of unintended work or hours of work in the wrong direction.
Yep,
Right. And that happens
all the time.
all the time.
I mean, hell,
Very, very frequently.
you can also save a lot of just like pointless negativity that you could be pushing on top of your employees that's going to mess up their day. So now they're not going to be productive now because they're worried about you being a jackass earlier when you weren't.
Yes.
Right? So hopefully that answers your question, David. Automate when you can. Okay, automate when you can. And don't close doors. So don't make those assumptions, man. Give yourself the opportunity to figure it out.
Right.
And that means that you may need to go outside the bun. You may need to go ask, talk to a mentor, research something. Ask an employee, who knows? Right?
And I would say if you want to shoot for the moon, like you just want to shoot for the moon and you really want to work less
You only have
and
one
make
like that.
more, no, I think if you want to shoot for the moon, then you have to get used to creating something unique and original, right? And that the only way I think you're going to be wildly successful and be able to work less is if you have some piece of intellectual property that you own that you can sell multiple times, right? And it has to be different than what everybody else is doing. So, books, photography, pictures, all those kinds of things. And then I'll say the obvious cliche bullshit of if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. So, like,
I mean, it's cliche, but it makes sense though, man, because
Yeah.
you're going to put the hours you have to work. You're going to love to learn about it. You're going to love the research. An artist's going to come in and like, oh, I can't wait to read that.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't give a shit, you're going to be whatever.
yeah, my hobby is my second job, right? It's great. I love it. It's
I
not
love
like
it.
work at all. So,
There you are. All right. So moving along here, John asked, if you were starting your career over from scratch, would you rather do something you love for less money or something you're not fond of for more money? That's an easy question for you.
well, no, it's not because I started in my career on something that I loved. Like I went to school for film and video and broadcasting and all that stuff, and I got out of it really quick.
But why did you get out of it though?
I got out of it for a bunch of reasons. I would say if I want to sound smart, like I got out of it for a good reason, was because it was obvious to me that the industry, the average pay for somebody was going to drastically drop, right? So when I was going through school, I was learning how to edit audio on reel-to-reel with an ink pen and a razor blade and tape.
Yeah, they don't do that.
Right? I was learning how to edit film with a razor blade. I was learning how to edit video with linear editing, right? So when I got my internship, I was at a place called the Kiel Center. It's where the St. Louis Blues were playing.
Right.
At the time, I got my first internship, and I was working for the Jumbotron at the Kiel Center, and we got our first Media 100. This is going to be 1996 probably, and nonlinear editing was a thing that we had. Now it was a wildly expensive machine, but I had a Hewlett Packard computer at home running Windows 90 something, maybe 3.1. I was maybe on 95 by then. So as soon as I saw nonlinear editing in effect and CGI, as easy as it was on a Media 100, I knew that anybody that can operate a basic computer would be able to do this stuff. And the real skill behind video editing and shooting was going away. And I wasn't wrong, right? Now every person in the world has a 4K camera,
Yeah.
a really, really high quality camera with them
Right.
everywhere they go, with editing software on a 6-inch screen, right?
Right.
So
And they have all these different tools where they can mount it in.
I definitely wasn't wrong in that perception. And I did notice that really early in my career.
I mean, that's pretty deep foresight, man.
But the thing that really got me was that I realized that industry was never going to love me as much as I did, as much as I loved it. Right, so I got a job in the music industry. I left film and video. I got a job in the music industry, made some good money. Realized really quickly too, not that I wanted a family to be a family man or anything like that, but I also knew that if I stayed in that career, I would never be a family man.
Yeah.
Right, it would
would
not
work.
be in my cards. So '99, I got an opportunity to leave that industry completely and go into the IT industry and the internet industry, which was great because when I was in the music industry, I was making pretty crappy websites for music for bands, right? And stuff like that. So '99, I left that whole world behind, and I went into IT and the internet industry, and I haven't looked back since. I still dabble in film and video; it's fun, so it's a hobby, but not very much.
I think that's something I think a lot of people come across when you say you want to do something that you love. When you start doing it for a job, it sometimes becomes a work.
Right.
And you lose that passion for it because then it takes away all the things you really cared about.
Right, and what I really found out is that I love storytelling.
Oh yeah.
Right, I really like to tell stories, and I'm pretty. I'm actually kind of good at it. I'm not great at it, but I'm kind of good at keeping the continuity together over a long period of time and understanding.
I'm pretty good at that.
I'm okay at it. I wouldn't say I'm great at it. I don't exercise that muscle very frequently.
I mean, you tell a shit ton of stories. I don't know, man.
But I don't tell shit ton of stories in video, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that kind of
The videos. What
Yeah.
you meant. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I think some people do what they love, and they do. They knock it out of the park. I think cooks are a great example of that. Cooks and chefs,
Oh yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
I hate cooking.
I like barbecuing, but I don't like cooking.
I like standing out back, listening to music, and drinking beer.
You like the ambiance, though.
Right, but, I'm absolutely fine doing that and throwing a hot dog on the grill. It doesn't have to be good. I like the experience more than the end result. So, do I like the cooking part of it? No. Do I like the music and the kids playing frisbee over there, and the girls in the pool over there, and all of that stuff? Yeah, I like all that stuff, right? But
yeah, so I guess for me then is that I definitely there's things I love to do. Like if I had a job where I do fitness all day, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, I'd be in heaven. I love fitness, man.
I can't do what I love to do all day, or I'd be dead. I would be dead in a heartbeat, right? There would be. I mean, the things that I love the most in the planet are not good for you. And
it's not at massive scale, no.
So
you need breaks.
We'll just push right past that and go on to the next question.
All right. Well, actually, we're halfway through.
Are we halfway through?
Want to do the tech history?
Sure. We need Nick. We need a clock.
Yeah, we should. That would be great.
Actually, I think I have an extra big digital clock. We'll bring that in. Holy smokes! This is huge. May 26th, 2003, WordPress is released.
Oh man!
Right? And
big time.
And it just says enough said. So I'm assuming that's WordPress.org is released at that point, which would be the open source WordPress CMS content management system,
right? That
was released in 2003, and it was instantly a hit.
Yes.
Right? I remember being like, man, this is fantastic. Prior to that, prior to WordPress, I leaned really heavily on a program called Dreamweaver, and for the company, Front Page was a huge product for us. Right.
Yeah, a lot of people have Front Page.
I think right now, I would say more than half the websites that Posterion hosts are probably WordPress sites.
Oh yeah.
That 100% of the websites that we create are created on WordPress with our own special sauce of the different plugins and modules that we use. So it's huge. It's open source. Wildly, it's great for the world. It's bad for programmers, right? It's really bad for custom guys that do custom software,
right?
Because it really just makes a ton of complicated things pretty easy.
It really does,
right?
When I got to the point when I realized that WordPress is nothing without the plugins.
No.
Plugins is what make it WordPress.
Yes,
right? That's how you get all the joys from having it.
Where you get all your functionality. Right?
And I had no idea. No idea. I taught myself how to do it, and I'm like, oh man, this stuff is tough.
Right.
Had no idea the plugins was a huge part of it.
Yeah, I mean, anything you want to functionality-wise, you can find a plugin, either a free plugin or a paid-for plugin. So I think where the guys that are knocking it out of the park are the guys that are making really good plugins for WordPress.
Yes.
right? They're crushing it.
Oh, absolutely.
They're making one piece of software. They're selling it thousands of times.
Like Elementor.
Like Elementor is crushing it, right?
That's probably one of the best plugins.
I love Elementor as far as design work and all that stuff. I don't know. Elementor has reduced our development time
Oh man, it's insane.
by so work smarter, not harder. WordPress with Elementor Pro, with Fiverr and 99 Designs, those 4 assets right there have taken our website design from a few week process to a few hour process,
Yeah.
right? So,
You throw in paper form too.
and, yeah, Paperform is another,
Right.
another great tool, right? So I don't have to create, I don't have to manually create forms and tie them to other
Right.
things. And this whole new, codeless movement that the world's going to
Mm-hmm.
is great. We literally this week, I didn't like how our process was for ordering new stuff. It was lackluster, right? We don't have a great process. We're not a huge company. Everybody kind of knows each other. So it's Ron says, hey, Dustin, I need X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Right. And actually the filters brought this up, right? It's part of the problem. So we took a paper form, paperform.co. I
love her.
hands down the best form making tool on the planet.
So
I
easy,
think. Right.
so functional. You do so much stuff. I didn't even touch the.
Yeah. So we made a order request form. We tie that to a Google Sheet. So when you fill it out, it can automatically, the form can go to email. It can also tie into Paperform or Google Sheets and hundreds of other automation tools, right?
Yeah.
So we pipe the new order into a Google Sheet and then from there we have a program called Sensu that's monitoring that Google Doc. So when a new order goes in and it says order pending,
Mm-hmm.
it shoots up alarms on our dashboards,
Perfect.
right? And when it goes to order placed, then Dustin will place the order and he'll move the drill drop down to order placed. And then if the order placed is a week out from, and it hasn't moved to order received, it throws another alarm on the board.
Perfect.
Right. So when you're in the ordering world, right, when you're procuring equipment and procuring stuff to run your building and your business or for customers, it happens so frequently that you place an order and you think the job's done. Oh, it'll just show up in the mail. Right? But
that's what it starts.
Post-COVID, the postal service is junk.
Man,
It's
all
trash.
all delivery. Even Prime, man. Even Prime, sometimes it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'll get stuff the next day. Other times I'll get it weeks away. I'm like, that's why I pay for Prime.
Yeah, it's really the shipping industry in this country, right, and I'm assuming worldwide, has gone to shit since COVID.
Man.
So, but anyway, back to WordPress. Thank you, WordPress, for everything you've done.
Yes. Yes.
WordPress has definitely changed my life. I don't think so for the better long term. I think it's probably worse because, but the commoditization of web hosting has really just hurt me more than it's helped me, I think.
Well, the industry changed.
The industry continually changes, and I keep rubbing my damn crystal ball, and I just don't know. I can't see a clear path where it's going, other than this is why we're big investors in Inlink.com. Go to Inlink.com, get your profile. You can point. One of the new features that are going to be added is point your domain name to it, to your
That's
Inlink
awesome.
profile. So basically, you've got one landing page that just links to all of your social media profiles, right? So if you sell
And more. Right.
So if you sell cookies and you say, hey, I don't need a website because I sell them through Facebook or Instagram, I don't need a website.
Right.
Well, you do need one centralized place for everybody to go to and have your address, and all of your information, and that's why we've invested in Inlink, is to standardize that landing page for businesses.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Right.
My Inlink is inlink.com/Brian.
Mine's /Ken, Inlink.com/Ken.
So glad I took that before. I'd been so mad if I waited.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to keep it going here. We have Lucas, and Lucas says, in the TV show The Office, are you familiar with that?
Not my favorite show by far.
Okay, but you know of it.
I know of it. I'm not well versed in The Office, but
I used to love it, and then after about 4 seasons, I'm like, I think I've had enough.
I put it in the same bucket as Seinfeld. It's not a great show, but it's got a huge cult following, and I think people say that they like it because it makes them seem cool.
Because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
All right. So Michael jokes that Jim is not hardworking because he takes 30 minutes to complete a task that takes others 2 hours. Okay.
Okay.
So, have you found this to be true in business where with various employees? Do you think that it is a mark of work ethic, intelligence, or a mix?
Oh, I think it's a mix. There are a lot of tasks that I can do faster than other people,
Mhm.
right? And I really, when I see people, one of the most frustrating things on the planet for me is to watch somebody work on a computer, right? That they don't know, right click from left click. They don't know the single click, double click, triple click.
God, I mess that up all the
They
time.
don't know, they don't use their short keys on their computer. So they're always using the mouse. They're right click copy, right click paste. Drives me insane because
Did you
Control C,
grow up
Control
like
V is so much. I didn't have a keyboard. I didn't have a mouse.
Yeah, so you grew up
Like,
using that stuff.
like,
So that's why it's secondhand nature to you.
My I don't even know what kind of computer it was, but my first computer had I guess it was basic on it, right? Like I didn't have a mouse.
Right, right.
So I had to use short codes.
Mhm.
Or shortcuts on the keyboard. So, and then now, I mean, I use the mouse. It's a wildly productive tool. But at the end of the day, there are faster ways to do things, right?
Yes.
And so I also use a program called VI.
What's that?
And it's a Linux text editor, right? And there are some short codes in there that make things really, really fast. So if I want to copy a line, I do a YYP, and that's a yank yank put. Right, there's how I remember it. I don't know what it actually means.
I don't use all those.
Yeah.
I know a few, but not like the ones that you do.
Yeah, so learning those shortcuts, I don't think it's a. I go back to the beginning of this episode where I said, when you automate things away, people get scared of oh, what am I going to do if I can do this faster? Well,
Yeah.
I believe that people pay me to do jobs because they know I can do it faster than the other guy.
That's why people ask you too.
Right?
That's why people ask you for a lot of stuff. They
Because I'm not going to bill them for 10 hours for something that can take me 30 minutes to do. Right? So on the other side of the fence, you've got guys that you could argue both sides, right? You can say that I do things really fast, but I don't pay attention to detail as much as I should, right? Maybe if I'd have spent the whole 2 hours, I would have caught a detail that I wouldn't have. But
some nuance that would have changed everything.
I know that I'm not good at detail, so I have people that are good at detail, and I can knock out a whole bunch of work really, really fast. I'm extremely fast at getting something to 98%, but I suck at getting it to 100. So I pay other people to get it to 100.
Well, see, I acknowledge you for even knowing that. Because most people think that 90%, oh, it's good.
Yeah, and I used to do that, right? So
Right.
I definitely used
It's
to do
good.
that. And it's like, oh, 98% is good enough, right? Send
Exactly.
it out, send it out, send it
Exactly.
out. Get it going. Let's get the next job, right?
Yeah.
I like to consume. I like to consume everything, and I like to consume work, right? So give me more work. I want more work. One of my previous bosses you never say no to anything. I'm like, well, why would I? I'll figure it out. Keep giving me work, and I'll tell you when I can't do it.
But again, that goes right back to your wheelhouse. You love to figure problems out, dude.
I hate not being buried. I hate it, right? So me and my wife, we're just finishing some projects, right? I'm like, okay, we're not done with projects yet, right? We're like, okay, here's the next one, here's the next one, here's the next one, right? I'm buying things, 3 months out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna buy it now. I know I can't do it for 3 months, but it's gonna take a month to get here. And I might get a free time because one of these other 10 projects might fail on us, and I got time to do that. And I'll be damned if I'm going to sit there doing nothing for a whole day,
Yeah,
waiting on work,
Yeah.
right?
I can definitely agree with you there. I wouldn't say I want to be buried, but I always want something to do. Right. So I always want to have my list of projects, and then I want to have
I need to be buried.
and I have my other list that if I can't do one of those or I'm pausing for one, I can start doing something else that kind of just to keep me occupied. Because I'm gonna find something terrible to do if I don't have something to do.
I get really lazy and really bad habits if I'm not fighting a fight. Right? I end up at Hooters for 10 hours. Right?
Or run.
Too. So, for those of you who don't live in St. Louis, Ron is the dirtiest little bar. But I love it. It's
It's
home
pretty,
for
it's
me.
pretty dirty.
It's been there. I've been there. We've been there for 26 years. I guess 25 years.
Yeah.
So
But I agree with you though, man. I have to have something to do, and that's why I also like to take on projects that I know it's going to require a lot a lot for me to learn it. So like, even if I do like start moving forward, there's something else in that project I need to learn and figure out.
Yeah.
So I like to take on something I know is gonna like it borderline scares me. It makes me not want to do it.
Right.
But enough to be like, you know what? Let's dive in.
Yeah.
Let's dive in and see where this goes.
Yep.
Right. So for me to answer the question, what I would say is absolutely. I would say it's a mixture of both too, because it also depends on the job. There's some jobs that you can't rush it. Like a creative job, you have to take your time and really just like figure it out.
I would say if something like mowing the lawn,
Oh yeah.
right? The guy that can do it in a half hour versus 2 hours probably didn't weed eat, probably has things missing, stripes on the grass and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But then you could flip it over and say, well, the guy that bought the best equipment can get it done faster, right? And better, right? Because he's got a better edger, he's got a better everything, he's got a better mower. So
Got leaf
it,
blower,
it
so
could go.
sweep it.
It could go either way, right? If it's, did I get it done faster because my skill set and my tools are better? Or did I get it done faster because I cut corners and gave you a half-ass product, right? So I think the only way to really know which one it is to see the quality of the product at the end.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I know when I make a grilled cheese at home, it takes me like 20 minutes to make a grilled cheese.
20 minutes?
Yeah, if I like a good grilled cheese, it takes me like 20
What
minutes.
the hell are you doing?
I can make a
with
shitty grilled cheese in like 2 minutes.
What are you doing your grilled cheese? It takes 20 minutes to make it, dude.
Well, I do each side. I cook both sides of the bread, and I put the cheese on, and I gotta cook the meat, and I gotta do all the other stuff.
Oh, you put meat in your grilled cheese?
Oh yeah,
What do you put in there?
I gotta crush the garlic cloves and all that shit.
Oh my god.
Put ham, bacon.
Put garlic cloves in there?
Oh, dude, garlic in your grilled cheese. I can't believe I was like almost 35 years old when I realized that you should put garlic in your grilled cheese.
I've never.
The fresh garlic is so much better than the cracked garlic.
Oh, for fresh anything is so much
Yeah,
better than
so
all the other stuff.
yeah, if you're gonna crunch your cloves and put them, saute them in the butter and then put that in there too. Yeah,
Interesting.
I can make amazing grilled cheese in 20 minutes. I can make a damn good grilled cheese in like 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. They're different things though.
It sounds like it. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. It definitely. You can really figure out which side if they cut the corners or if they actually just took their time to make a quality product at the very end, and you just don't know until the very end.
Right.
Right. Unfortunately, you don't know until the very end, and then you also got the same guys that they just care.
Yeah.
Right. Like for example, I started a mobile car detailing company just because I clean the crap out of my car so much. People smell my car when I pull up, and they would ask me who cleans your car, and I'm like, me.
Right.
And when you clean mine, I'm like, well, if you pay me. Next thing you know, I have a business, right?
Right.
But how I did it though is that I pay attention to detail when I'm cleaning, like, and I like to clean everything because everything's dirty when I'm cleaning.
Yeah.
And I guess that's how I was also raised though. Everything was dirty. When my mom was had us clean stuff, so I had to clean it 10 times because it was still dirty. And later on, we found out that she has a little OCD issue, and
right.
My stepdad never had our back with that. I was so kind of salty about that, but.
Yeah.
But I care about cleaning it, so you can tell by the way I do it. So me and my guy, when we got together to do this, he cares about cleaning. So we developed a process to how we can just quickly move through it and take the same level of care. So we had a style. You can
Right.
tell by the way we cleaned is we cleaned a certain kind of way, and it was different. It was
And
different.
then where the work smarter, not harder, would have been is to document that process, create training videos, and hire other people to do the work.
And we sold the business.
Right. Yeah.
So we didn't get to the point where we made the videos. That would have been clutch, right? But we did document the whole thing because like we were trying to get to the point where I'm like, dude, I like doing this, but I don't want to clean cars forever, dude.
No,
I want to clean my car. I like cleaning my car. I take a certain pride in that, but I don't want to clean everybody else's
I don't clean my car. I
car.
don't clean my house. I don't clean my toilet. I don't clean my dishes. I don't do any of that stuff.
Man, like I don't know what it is. Like it's when I feel like when I clean, I know it's clean.
Yeah. I mean, I value cleanliness, but I don't value it that high. I don't value it more than I value my time. Right? I value my time. I value
Pleasure.
easygoing, and I value pleasure. Right? Or lack of drama, I guess, is what I value. Right?
So I guess I value one of my things I value a lot. Then would be peace of mind. I value the mess out of peace of mind. It gives me peace of mind knowing that it's done the right way.
I've never had peace of mind.
What?
I've never had peace of mind. I always think something's about to break, something's about to fail. Right? Like the worst time in the world for me is like when everything's going perfect.
You're like,
Like something bad's getting ready to happen. Man. This is too good. This is too. Let's pump the brakes on this good shit. Like, something bad's gonna happen.
I get it though, because like the position you've had in the last 20 years, shit broke a
It's a
lot.
moment away. Right? Literally at any second, shit can go. Now, where I am today is that I have a very solid team. Everybody on my team is trained, and almost every possible way that it could break that we know of. Like every way that it's ever broken in the past has been documented, and there's a fix documented for it.
Boom.
Right? So
That's clutch.
I mean, it's taken a long time to build that list. And
20 years.
yeah, and then I think probably just in the last 5 years we figured out a good way to organize all that information and make it easily accessible, and we did that with WordPress. So
Working smarter, not harder.
yeah, I mean, WordPress is way more than just a website builder, right? And you can do so much more with a website than just put your company out on the web,
Right.
right? You can build a lot of process. So we built a WordPress website. We call it Mission. So it's mission.hosting, and it's private to our company only, but it holds all of our standard operating procedures, right? So every time we have a standard operating procedure, we make a WordPress post, we tag it, we categorize it, and then the staff not only has a way to easily search for that standard operating procedure, they can make comments on it. So
Right.
when stuff changes in the field, they can add changes and stuff like to it. So and Posterion can build that for you as well, right? If that's something your company's missing, that's something that we're really good at, is helping you build that using a website to build some kind of business process with.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, and even if it's something that you may not need it, but it would help you work smarter.
Your company needs standard operating procedures. If you run a company
No.
today,
I didn't mean that.
right?
I meant that they may have it, but it's not easily accessible.
Right, and
Right.
and it needs to be easily accessible.
Absolutely.
Simply for, and we not
You need
that
to
we're
staff
perfect.
it.
There's gaps in every single process that we have, right? And we have third-party auditors that come in and audit our processes to tell us where there's gaps. But we're always plugging those gaps and making those gaps smaller and smaller. But having standard operating procedures for your company, having them
That's a
easily
must.
searchable, and having a great way to close that loop if there is a problem with that standard operating procedure, for somebody an employee in the field, say, hey, and this is how I was told how to do it, but
This will happen.
this is what happened in the field and I was unable to do it. So documenting those workarounds to the standard operating procedures is also huge.
Absolutely, because like there's nuance to everything.
Right.
And since the world is constantly changing, technology is constantly changing, there's going to be more nuances.
Yeah, so
You're never going to have them all.
with standard operating procedures,
Right.
we have this conversation all the time because you start talking about them and they appear to be the rule sets. I'm like, no, these are the standards. This is how it works most of the time.
Right.
And it's the 80-20 rule, and I really try to push that more than the 90-10 rule. 90% of the time it's always the same. Really only 10% variance is what I found most of the time. So, but I mean, playing by the 80-20 rule, it's some percentage of most of the time it works this way, and then sometimes you got to reboot the computer 3 times. I don't know why, but sometimes you do.
That's a crazy nuance, though, right? Because I mean, it's hard for a lot of people to adopt the fact that, okay, this is a standard. That's a hard concept, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think it'd be easy, but like, I see it happening. It's not so easy, man. Like, I see it at school. You're right. I see it at both the places we work at. Like,
Well, everybody's got their own agenda too, right? Like,
so it makes stuff work, it
Yeah.
makes stuff doesn't work, right?
yeah, they'd rather go, oh, the standard didn't work, so I'm going to walk away,
Because that's easy.
right?
That's easy.
Well,
I'm not gonna take responsibility. I'm gonna blame it on something else.
So,
Right. So we got time for one more question. It's a bonus question here.
all right.
And Danny asks, in your opinion, what's the worst thing about Elon Musk?
Is there something bad about Elon? I can't. I have nothing bad to say about Elon Musk. Nothing
Really?
bad at all. I think he's a great innovator. I think he has pushed our world. I think Elon Musk today is trying to save our planet more than any other single individual, or save our species.
Well, he's an alien, so.
Right? Like I think that he's from the Tesla car, which I think time will tell if electric vehicles are really better for the environment than gas fueled vehicles. But time will tell there, right?
Well, as far as like the how it pollutes, that part is better, but the other part of what it
Well, does it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, the battery acid is going to end up in the rivers, right? Those batteries are going to recycle. The plastic, the I don't know what the BPA's or whatever that shit is. It's horrible for people. It's horrible for the world. And now, I mean, we're living in a world where right now, the majority of our cars are still the standard vehicle still runs on fuel, gasoline or diesel, and but electric vehicles are quickly taking the market, and the landfills are going to be filled with batteries in 100 years from now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're a kid today and you're looking for a career to go into and you don't know what to do. I would say battery technician would be a fantastic field to get into for the next 50 to 100 years.
And I didn't think about the battery.
Right? I mean, those batteries they don't last forever. So and they got to charge them with some kind of power. As we get the solar and we get more wind generation and we get more hydro generation, yes, we'll be able to power those cars from those more natural resources. But today, we're burning coal or diffusing nuclear to power those vehicles.
So I didn't realize that what kind of battery they take.
And they're lithium ion mostly, I think. So I mean, they're highly efficient. So it's like basically a whole bunch of phone batteries.
Yeah.
In big cases,
yeah.
right? But I mean, we already have millions of phones in the ocean. So
that can be a problem.
It's going to end up somewhere, right? There's acid in there and they explode, and there's other issues. And I just don't think I don't know if the entire the environmental impact has been all the way thought through when we're making these batteries and producing this plastic at the scale of what we're going to be doing.
It's going to get worse too, because as soon as they knock it out, get rid of the system with cars, they're going to go to airplanes and then boats, and then it's going to be everything.
And
that's the plan.
And if we can do it off the solar,
game changer.
Then that's changing. And if we can, figure out how to make the batteries, less environmentally impacting, I think that would be huge.
So I guess to answer the question,
and mostly the plastics is what is the problem. These microplastics all over our world are pretty. I mean, you have plastic in your body right now, like plastic. That's not good. Like in your liver and your kidneys and all that shit. Like just because you're drinking out of your. Well, you drink primarily out of that, so you probably have less than most. Right? But if you're drinking,
most of my water's out of this big jug.
And I try to drink out of glass or aluminum most of the time, so I probably have heavy metal poisoning. But I try to stay away from plastics, but I can't all the time.
So the bottom line is that you love everything about Elon Musk. You're not even jealous he's got more hair than you.
No, everybody's got more hair. Depends what we were talking about. I can't grow hair on my head.
My back hair, though, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
So, I have nothing. I think right now he might be being a little. If there's one bad thing about Elon, which is also probably I think the best thing about him is that I think he's a little reckless.
Oh.
Right, but I think for what he needs to be. I mean, he's literally trying to, make rockets that self-land themselves after they've made orbit. I think you have to be a little reckless.
He's trying to put that thing in your mind so you can correct vision and hearing and all that stuff. Like that's really cool.
To get that job done, I think you have to be a little on the edge.
I would say on the edge, but I wouldn't say reckless.
Well, I think his most reckless things lately have been. I think that he's had some jokes that some people understand, but the masses don't, and it really moves weird economies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that when I say reckless, I think he thinks he's saying. I think, and I don't know Elon at all, right? I've never met the guy, I've never shook his hand or anything, but I'm very familiar with people with Asperger's and autism. I think he's saying a joke, what he thinks is a joke, but the American people don't take it as jokes. So, like he said, Dogecoin is. As much of a meme as the US dollar. I think the American people took it as, oh, Dogecoin is a joke.
Yeah.
And it wasn't initially intended to be a joke, but they're working on it. They got developers and all that shit working on it. So
that's all jokes though. All jokes. If you don't get it, right, it loses everything.
Yes.
The entire intention's gone and it makes it bad. It's not funny anymore.
The guy's great. He's done more for this world in the last 10 years than anybody else.
At an early age too. He started doing this at an early age. As a matter of
He's
fact.
doing, you know, he's doing more than our current president did. He did more than our last president did, right? You know, he actually stepped down from an advisory board from Trump because he didn't like what Trump was doing. So, I mean, he's a smart dude that holds to his convictions, and he makes great shit happen. I mean, we would have
he creates stuff. He's a creator. He's an inventor.
eBay, like the internet as we know it, wouldn't exist without Musk. I don't think.
I know he created PayPal.
Is Musk PayPal or eBay? PayPal.
Did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
That is really awesome.
like the dude. I think did he create it or was he a partner, early investor? I'm not sure the details, but I mean, he was heavily involved in PayPal and its creation and its growth.
That's
not sure the details, but I mean, when the dude that's significant player in PayPal says Dogecoin's the future, you better believe I'm buying Dogecoin. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about the fundamentals. Right?
So now you're reckless.
I can promise you, if I told my dad 30 years ago, dude, you're going to be able to buy something on the internet, have it delivered to you within 2 hours from a device you hold on your phone. He'd have said, "You're a damn fool, kid. Get out of go play. Like, get away from me. You're a fool. It's never going to happen."
That's all I mean. Is that the internet's a fad. It's going to go away.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't just have someone come to your house and they're not a real taxi service. Right. No, you can't rent out something and not actually live in it.
I had a morning show with a buddy of mine, Rick. We got a job offer to have a morning show, and we were going to move to Miami to do the morning show. And this was in '99, right before I came here. Mm-hmm. And I was we were probably 2 or 3 weeks away from moving to Miami to do this morning show together. And I ended up bailing on him. He was pretty pissed. And he's like, you can't bail? I'm like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to go work on this internet thing. And he's like, dude, that's such a fad. Like, that's not going to last. Like, what are you, crazy? Like, people aren't going to have computers in their houses. And what I didn't realize then is he's absolutely right. They're not. They're going to have phones in their hands.
Right. Like, most people don't even have, they do everything on their phone or tablet.
Yeah. Yeah. I use my home computer far and far less every single month.
Yep. Likewise.
Yeah.
I bought a laptop. I was so happy about it, and I don't even use it.
I use my laptop. I do use all my computers, but
I use them, but not the intent that I use my phone though.
No. Well, and websites there's not. I mean, I used to spend hours surfing the web, and really, I think people use like 5 websites now on a regular basis, right? And then they use the website of the small mom and pop shop. That website is to find the business.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think people surf like that anymore.
No.
They go to YouTube, watch. They go to Facebook and they see something, they click on it.
Yeah. They go to the huge staples.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then these other outliners they kind of go to here and there.
The social media
for a very specific intent. Like, how do I find the address? Or, oh, what was that baker's name? Or what was that chef's name? Or what was that trainer's name? Or, oh, I heard there's a picture of me on this website. Right? That kind of stuff.
That's really interesting. People don't surf the net anymore.
I don't think.
I just really thought about that. Like, I don't.
Like, surfing the web was a thing you did. You spent hours surfing the web. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's pretty much gone.
Yeah, because you go to your social media and then you scroll.
You can just ask Alexa weird ass questions.
Or you can have Alexa. Yeah. All right. So that's our timer today. Thank you guys all for listening. Don't forget to subscribe no matter where you're watching this podcast at. And also give us a rating. Give us the honest rating, okay? My text line is 314-216-2040.
And my number is 314-370-2871. Join my community. I promise you'll have a good time, and I won't pest you about silly stuff. That's it for today.
That's it for today.
All right, get to work.